Hi, I'm Lucy, I'm 21 and I have life-limiting complications of Ehlers Danlos syndrome. Ehlers Danlos is a condition of connective tissue caused by faulty collagen, so my tissues are weak and stretchy and it's caused multiple organ failure, intestinal failure, bladder failure. I'm TPN dependent, I have stoma bags and a venting tube, and I'm wheelchair bound but spend most of my time in bed. Because I am life limited, I am supported by a young adult hospice called the Jay's Hospice, as well as Jack's Place at Naomi House for inpatient respite, as the Jays do not have a building yet. When I first got ill, we contacted the local children's hospice, but I didn't fit the criteria. So when we really needed help, we didn't have the palliative care. And then we contacted them again a little while later, and they couldn't cater for my needs. And that's how we ended up with the young adult hospice. Because I was already 16, we ended up with the Jays, the young adult hospice, but adult hospices aren't equipped to deal with me. So it was kind of the Jays or nobody, because there was no support for young adults in palliative care in hospices for adults. They're not equipped for young people. And I think had we had access to palliative care earlier with the children's hospice, it might have improved the transition into adult services a little better, rather than kind of jumping in to palliative care when we didn't know what was going on and what was happening and didn't know how to access things. I mean, we found the Jays through a friend who was just searching things on the internet, desperately trying to find us somewhere to get help, and then obviously the Jays stepped in. They deal with 18 to 40-year-olds, so they're a young adult specific hospice, and I don't know what we do without them. They coordinate my care. They've kind of changed the focus of my care from being about fixing things that aren't fixable, realistically, to thinking about my quality and me as a person, not a condition. I think that's so important. For the first time in my life, someone actually wanted to know about me and what I wanted and what I thought about life and what I wanted from my life and what things I wanted to do, whereas my doctors tended to focus on their specific area of expertise. So I'd see a gastroenterologist for my gut and a neurologist for my nervous system, but nobody actually sat there and went, what is about Lucy? Who is Lucy as a person? What does Lucy want out of life, and how can we facilitate that? And it was a complete change, because suddenly I had support that meant I could be who I wanted to be, and I wasn't just a condition or a label or a diagnosis. And being life limited is difficult, and doing your end of life care plan is not easy, but I feel better for doing it. And I don't know what we'd have done without the hospice support, because it's invaluable. And as I've said, it's so important for me to have support for what I wanted out of life, and not just what people think I should have.
What would you say to the policymakers who are trying to develop palliative care? Just in a couple of sentences, what would your key messages to them be?
Just access to palliative care for children, young adults and adults in the community and in hospital, and to pour the funding, if they've got any, into building these services for all, but especially for children, as so many children don't have access to palliative care, and that means that the end of their lives and their life while they're limited is not of the best quality. And palliative care is about quality of life, and everyone should have access to that. Everybody should have that kind of support wherever they live, whatever budgets are, whatever government says, that everybody in the world should have access to palliative care, not least children, and especially young adults as well, because they don't really think that we're kind of a subgroup. We're not children, we're not adults, so what happens for us? And unfortunately I'm in a place where they've got a young adult hospice, but obviously that's not everywhere, and having hospices is not in every country anyway. But there should be palliative care for everybody, regardless of where they live, regardless of their diagnosis.
What would you say that palliative care has done for you and your family?
Palliative care has given me quality and allowed me to make happy memories and to live a good life, as well as make plans for a good death. And that's so important to me, to be able to have quality of life, to enjoy my time however long, but also to know that when it comes to the end of my life, everything is in place, so my wishes are known, and my family don't have to worry about making decisions without knowing what I want, because we've been able to talk about that with the hospice, get everything down on paper, so that when the time comes, everything's sorted. But again, back to the living side of it, people don't realise children's palliative care is not just about dying, it's about living well. I don't think people realise that. They hear palliative or hospice and they think death and dying, but children's hospices are so different to that.